Hi there, I am Bonnie McCaffery, and I'm so glad you came back this month for another VidCast because I've got something really interesting that you're going to learn about. This is rust dyeing, and I've heard a lot about this rust dyeing, so I decided we'd go to the source and find out how to do this. And so this is Lois Jarvis. Hi, Lois.
Hi, Bonnie. I'm thrilled to be here.
This is really cool to be able to see how to do this. I've seen Lois demonstrate this, and this is a pretty neat technique. How did you get started in this rust dyeing?
I saw this little movie on the internet of two girls in Japan spreading yards of white fabric out in a junkyard and then spraying it with a garden hose.
In a junkyard?
Yeah. And then a few days later, they came back and pulled the cloth off, and marks had transferred to the cloth, and they were selling it for thousands of dollars as art cloth. And I thought, I could do that.
Yeah.
So the first year I experimented a lot and
Yeah.
read everything I could find on rust dyeing, and I also did a lot of research. I know that iron is one of the classical mordants of natural dyeing, and so I read all the natural dye books I could find, and the next thing I knew, I was having a successful, I was able to recreate the processes. And so I had such a good time rust dyeing that I wrote an instructional CD so everybody can learn to rust dye.
Okay, so let's talk about how is this done? What do you start with?
You start with rust. A rusty item.
Where do you get this rust? Do you go to the junkyard?
No, I've never gone to the junkyard. I just accumulate stuff. I garage sale extensively, so I get a lot of things that way. And flea markets are great sources of rusty stuff. But like, I assume most of your viewers are quilters, and if people know you're a quilter, fabric just comes to you. You become a fabric magnet.
That's very true.
Well, rust just comes to you. Once people know that you're looking for it, you just get stuff. So you need rust, and you need fabric, and you need salt and water.
Okay.
The easiest technique is image transfer, and you just have your very rusty item.
I see that you have these stars that can be rusted.
Right, they're absolutely guaranteed to rust.
All right, something you want to rust.
Yeah, and you can use this the very first time you have it, it'll rust. So you put it down on a clean surface, on a plastic surface generally, and then you put your piece of cloth on top of it, and you spray it with water, and then you sprinkle some salt on it, and then you maybe spray some more water on it to help start dissolving the salt, and then you go away. And
for how long?
However long you want.
Are we talking hours, days, months?
Maybe 24 hours.
Oh, okay, that's pretty quick.
Yes, and you don't have to do it. You don't have to do anything else to it. I usually check on it and make sure it's not drying out. And if it is drying out, I missed it again. But if you have to go to work, you can put it in a plastic bag.
Oh, okay.
And the whole process works much better in the heat. And so you really want to, if you put it in the plastic bag, that's good because then it heats up like a little greenhouse.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm home all the time, and it needs oxygen to work. And so if you leave it out in the air, it's probably a little better.
Yeah. Okay, so you come back and you're all done. The fabric has rusted to the way you want it to do. Then do you just peel the fabric off and you use it?
You peel the fabric off. The rusty item you can reuse, and then you rinse it out in water and a few times until the water is clear, and then it's all set to go. I usually run them through the wash machine with Synthropol or whatever your detergent is, and then it's done. And you know, it's really permanent. As I said, it's one of the classic mordants for natural dyeing. And have you ever tried to get a rust stain out of something?
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's very permanent.
Yeah. And I see you do have kits here. These look like pretty neat things.
This is the Rust-Tech starter kit for image transfer.
Okay.
And
looks like there's lots of neat things in there.
There are, and I'd love to show you what's all in here. First off, it comes with a complete set of printed directions in color, so that shows how the image transfer technique works. A pair of protective rubber gloves.
Oh, I'll bet that would be really important.
Yeah, you really need to protect yourself. This is my lab coat that I use when I rust dye, and you can see that it's really totally stained up.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. A little bottle of Synthropol, your very own package of salt, a half yard of prepared for dye cloth, which you don't have to use. You can use any kind of cloth for rust dyeing. Even polyester works.
Yeah. Ooh, lots of stars to rust.
And 4 stars.
Wow.
Yeah,
Now-
guaranteed to rust.
Yeah, this looks like a great kit to include, including everything that you need to get started.
Thanks.
And then, of course, we'll all be shopping at the yard sales and looking for those rusty things and picking them up for a good deal.
Yeah.
I've been able to see you do some other demos, and so there's things like shibori and, well, rush shibori, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And some other things, and I'm sure those are things that are on the CD that you have.
Right. There's 4 different techniques. Image transfer, which we just talked about.
Right.
And stormy skies, rust dust sprinkle, and the trees fabric.
What's rust dust sprinkle?
You just have powdered iron oxide and you sprinkle it on the
Right.
fabric, and then you get little dots of rust.
Yeah, and the trees fabric is pretty neat, and we'll take a look at a piece of
Right.
that fabric as well. So Lois, you've had this piece rusting here. How many days has this been rusting?
I started it Thursday, and today is Sunday, so
Oh, we're going to get to see the revealing.
yeah. To make the stormy skies fabric, you need a rusty cookie sheet or iron pan to start with, and then you crumple up your fabric into it and put rust dust in certain areas,
Okay.
and some salt, and then tannin. One of the oldest recipes for black is iron oxide plus tannin.
Okay.
So you pour a little tannin into an area where you put some rust dust, which is powdered iron oxide.
Are we talking pouring, like make a pot of tea and pour it in?
If you use tea, I would use 4 tea bags to 1 cup of water and make it really strong.
Okay.
And then after it cools, then it's ready to use. And you just need a little bit, maybe 2 tablespoons for this size pan. So,
Cool.
are you ready to see the
Are we
relevation?
ready? Oh, this is so neat. I'm excited.
So,
Wow.
there it is.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful.
And then you rinse it out, and you can reuse the rust dust. I filter it out through coffee filters, the rinse water.
Oh, okay.
So you can reuse the rust dust.
Okay, Lois, let's take a look at some of these neat things. First of all, here is the star, what happens to the fabric and how it looks once it is rusted with the star.
With the image transfer.
And you've got some other great fabrics here.
This is the trees fabric. Call it trees because it makes these wonderful long lines up here, and then a meadow, or a pond, and a meadow. So here's a trees fabric that's been enhanced with rubber stamps. And you can see the trees and the pond and the meadow real clear in here. The rubber stamps are these trees and the leaves, and then I enhanced it with machine embroidery and metallic thread on the pond and a lot of machine quilting. This sunburst is made with the same technique as the trees technique, but it's instead of laying it around a cylinder or rolling it around a cylinder, I wrap it up around a liquor bottle like this, and then wrap the copper wire around and get this really cool effect. This is another image transfer, but it's drawn off an old colander, an old rusty colander.
Oh, I see the holes. I see the holes from the colander.
Yeah, and it looks like a sunflower tree.
It does.
And this is a stormy skies that's already finished and ironed and washed out.
I see something interesting here. This is black and those are orange. What makes the difference?
Anytime you add tannic acid to iron oxide, you get the gray-black colors.
Oh, okay. And so this is just straight rust, and then this is with tannin added.
Right.
Okay, good.
Okay. So another thing I do is these beautiful rayon tops. And again, it's the same as the stormy sky fabric that I described to you earlier. I also do silk scarves.
Okay, yeah.
And here's, again, with the stormy skies.
Oh, my gosh. Wow, that is beautiful.
And then sometimes I enhance over them with paint sticks and foiling. We had a record 100 inches of snow in Madison, Wisconsin this year, and so this one is all done with snowflakes.
Oh, that is beautiful. Oh, just gorgeous. And so do you sell these on your website as well?
No, I don't sell these on the website, just the kits and the CD,
Okay, yeah.
and some little supplies.
Wow, Lois, thank you so much for showing us how to play with this rust stuff, old rusty things, to make them into something absolutely beautiful. Thanks.
Thanks for the opportunity to share rust dyeing with your audience, Bonnie.
Yeah. And thank you all for coming by. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you'll come back next month and see what I have for you then. Thanks for being with me.